Welcome to The Good Side, a half hour of positive, uplifting stories that'll leave you inspired. They're told by a team of passionate journalists from local newsrooms all across the country. Lots of hugs, a cheering crowd, and a table full of medals. The inspiration for this celebration? A bright smile, a strong spirit, and a family with a message to share.
Life is hard sometimes, but if you get caught up in the hard part, you'll miss it.
And later, every curve on these ornate balconies, every sturdy fence post tells the story of New Orleans. Meet the man keeping their unique beauty in place for generations to come. Plus, in a state known for its sun and surf, vintage baseball steps up to the plate. These players having fun while they highlight a lesser-known piece of history. The Good Side starts right now. Hey there, I'm Deborah Alfarone. All of us have those days where life throws unexpected challenges our way. How we face them is up to us. And sometimes, to get through those storms, you just have to decide to dance in the rain. I want to introduce you to a mom making sure her little girl's light lives on by doing just that.
In this field in Virginia, hundreds came to cheer on children on a sprawling course with no time limit nor joy limit.
Today we're celebrating them, and you know, it's just it's such an honor to come inside of a family's inner circle and grieve with them, celebrate with them, have good days with them, be there for the hard days, and all because Julia connected us to them.
This is Julia. Without her spirit, this celebration for children with complex medical needs wouldn't exist.
Sweet Julia Grace is my daughter. My husband and I had a beautiful little girl named Julia who passed away in 2013. We wanted to be able to come alongside families like ours and help families dance in the rain, just like she taught us to do.
How did she teach you to do that?
Life is hard sometimes, and but if you get caught up in the hard part, you'll miss it. Julia was 12 when she passed away, and she had a lot of beautiful days, but she had a lot of hard days. But even in the hard days, she smiled, and she wanted us to be by her side, and she was loving and loved us. She taught us to just dance in the rain in the midst of all the storms.
That's why every child here is called a rain dancer.
Great day to come out here and walk. It's been a joy. Team Lila's done great things.
It's been amazing just to have people come support us and to be able to walk together with our family and friends and just to have a lot of fun together.
It's a day to celebrate no one here takes for granted. Sarah says the Sweet Julia Grace Foundation has helped about 400 families living in Virginia and West Virginia. They do it in many ways. They provide care packages to children and families at hospitals and grant wishes to rain dancers. John McGraw is one of them.
They changed my life forever because I told my parents after we dropped off my older brother at Virginia Tech that my dream was to go to Virginia Tech, and they told me, okay, well, we need to strive to make you as independent as possible for you to go to college by yourself. They came over and, what can we do for you? And we said, well, we need a handicapped accessible bathroom. The first time where we realized, whoa, this is a dream that can be realized.
John is now a sophomore at Virginia Tech, inspiring and rooting for the next generation of rain dancers.
We want to not focus on the hard things they're going through. We want to take the inspiration they give us and celebrate them and share it with the world.
These are beautiful children, and the children are our future. And so when we see their resilience to get through anything and everything, that gives us hope that we can get through anything in life together.
And that's a message we can all get behind, learning to dance in the rain together.
They will teach you how to be brave and courageous and resilient and smile even when it's hard. There's nothing like a rain dancer.
Sarah says the Sweet Julia Grace Foundation is always in need of donations. And if you're not in a position to donate, she asks that you follow them on social media, because you never know when you might be able to help grant a wish to a rain dancer. A high schooler in Alabama can sharpen his soccer skills thanks to his perceptive group of friends. The Good Side's Shelby Myers shows us how his smile was the only thank you they needed.
Kevin Duran Corona loves the movie Shrek, and he loves soccer. Do you like Cristiano Ronaldo?
No.
No?
Like Messi.
The senior at Alberta High School plays goalie every day at PE with this group of freshman guys: Justin Strickland, Matthew Thurston, Luke Wilkins, Jacob Morales, and Jaden Nelson. Jacob noticed that when he sees Kevin on the weekends playing soccer, he's always in his tennis shoes.
I thought it was like generous if we bought him cleats so like he could play soccer, like, you know.
The idea spread to the group. Together they raised $120, pitching in their own money and asking others to help. And then they let Kevin pick out the pair he liked best.
To figure out like the cleats that he wanted, we pulled up different types, and I knew he liked white shoes and white cleats, so we thought that these cleats would be good that he'd like, so we asked Kevin. He said he really liked them. So.
Did you like the cleats?
Yeah.
And Kevin's smile says it all. This video from the assistant principal shows the moment the boys surprised him with their gift. The five friends say the best part was seeing Kevin's reaction.
And the smile on his face, it just brought me pure joy to my heart.
And it brings me pure joy, too. Well, they may be in the background, but church musicians are the backbone of Sunday services. Evans Primus is a keyboard player at his church in Albany, Georgia, and he is so dedicated, he drives 4 hours round trip every Sunday to get to and from church. And more often than not, he's driving a car that's unreliable, leading to breakdowns.
This is your car, man.
The look on his face. His pastor was moved by his dedication and took up donations from the congregation so Primus could buy a car. Now, listen to this. This is how dedicated he is. One weekend, he went to extremes to get to church on time.
I rented me a U-Haul for that weekend and drove down here and came, just so I could be at service, because it was an important service that I needed to be at.
Yeah, a U-Haul, and here it is. Now, that's dedication. The pastor there says everyone was moved to help.
The Lord pressed upon my heart one day to bless him for his faithfulness. And so I got with a few of the members and shared that with them, and they agreed, along with myself, to make a contribution towards purchasing him a vehicle.
And the next time Evans rents a U-Haul, it'll be because he's moving. Now he drives to church in this reliable red convertible. Next on the good side, his calling lit a fire in him at a young age.
That's my love. That's what gives me joy.
His skills keep an art form alive, and his spark inspires a new generation to preserve the unique beauty of New Orleans. You're watching The Good Side. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Good Side. It is as much a part of the landscape of New Orleans as the perfect po' boy, a hot beignet, or home-cooked gumbo. The city's iconic ironwork feeds the senses, just like its legendary food. The Good Side's Dave McNamara introduces us to a blacksmith fueling a fire for his work for generations to come.
In New Orleans, the city's architecture is often framed in iron. Centuries of old balconies, fences, and gates that survived fires and hurricanes. And here at Andrew's Welding and Blacksmith Shop, Darrell Reeves is one of the few who still carry on the tradition.
My grandfather was a blacksmith on Sonoma Plantation.
Reeves remembers being shooed away as a boy from his grandfather's shop in Donaldsonville. But the memory of the blacksmith stuck with him.
We used to just pass through and just watch these guys beat on this metal with the sparks and all. I think that had a lot of influence with me enjoying the work with metal.
What's it like for you to take a raw piece of metal and then with a hammer and a fire to turn it into something?
That's my love. That's what gives me joy. And it gives me, how many people get to beat on metal? Especially if you're frustrated with something and get it out. How many people do that?
From iron hinges to hand-forged designs like metal leaves, Reeves makes what he needs, including his ironworking tools. And sometimes he adds a twist of his own.
I try to do something that a blacksmith would scratch his head and try to figure out how in the hell did he do that. And I do that on purpose.
That's the same feeling Reeves gets when he examines old pieces of ornate metal. He has restored some of the most historic ironwork in New Orleans, including the fence in front of the Cabildo, using plans dating back to the 1790s.
That's learning from the past. That's having a conversation with the person that actually fabricated it.
And now a younger generation is learning from Reeves. His apprentice, Karina Roca, moved here from Boston.
Well, I've always secretly wanted to be an iron worker, and then I saw a PBS program on Darryl Reeves over 10 years ago at this point, and I was like, yep, I'm going to study under that guy.
Roca is now working on a master's degree in historic preservation at Tulane, and she's been working in this blacksmith shop for 5 years.
It works in so many ways to kind of keep this aesthetic of New Orleans alive. It's very Spanish, it's very West African, it's very French. So it's sort of this symbol, this beacon of a space where all of these cultures have come together for centuries now.
Everybody looking at them as pretty designs. You have these symbols they call Adinka symbols. And these symbols has a meaning to them.
For Darryl Reeves, blacksmithing is more than bending metal. It's preserving history, culture, and the spirit of New Orleans, one hand-forged piece at a time.
Now to an artist finding inspiration in the everyday. Everywhere where you see a tree stump, Keith Gregory envisions a soaring eagle or maybe a bear or another wild creation. His studio is a hardware shop, and as the Good Side's Chad Pline shows us, his paintbrush is a chainsaw.
At Nixa Hardware, you can find just about anything. Bolts, bathroom supplies, bird seed, running buzz saws. Recently, Keith Gregory set up outside the front doors as a little treat to the folks on their way into the store. The chainsaw artist is thankful for the opportunity.
I can carve at the house, but nobody will see me carving there, and so this is where you meet up with a lot of customers. The staff is really nice. I've made some great friends.
For the past 15 years, Keith has been gnawing away at wood, creating amazing works of art with his chainsaws. His saying, "You gotta see what I saw."
Art bubbling up out of the ground in the form of a tree stump, it's really gratifying to see somebody lay down their hard-earned money for something that you created.
About 40 years ago, Keith started carving Santas with small hand tools. But his art got a lot bigger and louder after a trip to Eureka Springs with his wife, Carrie, where he saw the chainsaw carving contest.
I said, I'm going to do this. And she said, no, you're not. You'll cut yourself. And I said, no, I'm going to do this. So I went in and carved my first bear with a regular saw, and it sold. And I thought, wow, I'm onto something.
Since then, Keith has put the carving tools down and picked up chainsaws, creating Grizzly Mountain Sawworks. He's done commission work, has turned dead trees into school mascots like Hira Monette, and has been in competitions. He's even set a world record with this rooster he made for what used to be the Great American Steak and Chicken Restaurant on the Branson Strip.
France had the largest chicken statue at 37 feet, and now Branson, Missouri has it at 45 feet tall. So that was quite a job.
Years of serenading the saw has resulted in shoulder surgeries. Keith admits tomorrow is not guaranteed, so he puts everything he can into each carving and takes breaks often.
Every time I'm carving and there's a crowd, I say, hey, we're going to let everybody leave with 2 pockets full of sawdust today.
But that gives him a chance to say hi to the people, especially to thank the men and women who have served. His patriotism is shown in many pieces with the bald eagle. And back inside Nixa Hardware, perched above the fireplaces, you'll find one of Keith's eagles. His hope for anyone watching this story: keep this form of art that he loves alive.
And next on the Good Side, when you think Hawaii, you may think about riding waves. But what about running bases? The state has deep ties to America's pastime, and the Aloha Vintage Baseball Association brings it to life. You're watching the Good Side. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to The Good Side. When you think baseball, what places come to mind? Maybe New York, Boston, Chicago, LA? Well, plenty of spots here on the mainland United States, but what about Hawaii? The Good Side's Jim Mendoza steps up to the plate to look into the state's deep ties to America's pastime.
On the mainland, there are hundreds of vintage baseball teams that play an older version of the national pastime. Participants wear throwback uniforms and follow rules that governed the game in the 19th century. Hawaii artist Matias Solario is a veteran of vintage baseball.
It just looks really, really cool to see in action because, you know, we're using these small gloves, using big, heavy bats. We're in the full 1886 uniforms, the pillbox caps, and it's just fun to watch.
When he lived in San Francisco, Solario played the retro version of baseball for 6 years. Now he's bringing it here. He co-founded the Aloha Vintage Baseball Association that seeks to honor the island's place in baseball's history.
There are so many stories that are integral to the foundation of the beginnings of the game of baseball that are told through Hawaii that nobody really knows about.
Alexander Cartwright introduced the game to Hawaii in the early 1850s. Teams popped up everywhere. Even King David Kalakaua became a fan of the sport.
King Kalakaua, he was a big baseball guy. There was a lot of the ali'i, the royalty that were into the sport of baseball. So for me, it's not just the athleticism, it's the cultural aspect, right?
So far, the AVBBA, as it's known, has two teams, the Royal Hawaiian Baseball Club and the Waikiki Baseball Club. Games will be governed by 1886 rules and the terms that were popular back then.
For example, an out would be a hand. A foul ball would be unfair. A run is an ace.
The league has a cultural expert who's translating those terms into Hawaiian.
A lot of us are really interested in just kind of like getting in where we fit in, right? And making sure that this gets off the ground and we have a successful first season.
Solario is hearing from baseball enthusiasts around the state who want to play. They're attracted by the retro uniforms and equipment and the historical aspect of the game.
We have some barnstorming trips planned for the neighbor islands to see if we can't exhibit and showcase and try to get some action going there for expansion.
Now, in case you were wondering, the Aloha Vintage Baseball Association is such a stickler for accuracy. It even spells baseball the old-timey way as 2 words. Yep. Well, up next on The Good Side, hear just a few chords, and you'll feel that ocean breeze in your face.
We say that it's difficult to play a ukulele and frown at the same time.
The musicians who make up Ukes by the Sea set off a tidal wave of smiles. You're watching The Good Side. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to The Good Side. If you're like me, no matter the season, you might have beach time on the brain. Even if warmer weather isn't heading your way anytime soon, there is nothing better than some tropical tunes to cue your mind into relaxation mode. The Good Side's Lauren Korn shows us Ukes by the Sea in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and they're here to help.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Their breezy vibes whisk you away to tropical paradise.
More better life for life. And it's got such a happy sound. Better life, enjoy.
Donning Hawaiian shirts, Panama hats, and flowers in their hair.
We say that it's difficult to play a ukulele and frown at the same time.
This group of musicians make up the Ukes by the Sea.
I have picked all of the high-paying jobs in my life.
And Tom Woodle is at the helm.
I could go on about the ukulele for hours because I've done a tremendous amount of research on it. And
I have 300 minutes of record time left.
Tom began playing the small stringed instrument at 4 years old.
I found out a long time ago.
And his talent quickly blossomed.
Started playing on live radio when I was 6. And then I started in bands at 11 and started actually making money at 16.
He even made it onto the top 100 chart with his group, the Reedy Creek Band.
I never could ever
Playing country and bluegrass in Nashville. The music artist traded spotlights for stained glass and returned to the Grand Strand, where he taught at Coastal Carolina and served as senior rector at the Well by the Sea.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.
He created the uplifting toe-tapping ukulele band almost 3 years ago for all to enjoy.
A lot of rock and roll from the 60s and 70s, and we do some folk songs, and we do some more contemporary things like Africa. It could be anything that hits our fancy.
Scouting out talent like Kristen Tobin, who plays ukulele and now the steel drum.
I purchased it, and at least with my musical background, it somehow came easy to me. And Tom has always wanted a steel drum in his band. It really brought my spirits up, and I remembered how much I love music, and it was just a way for me to continue on my love of music.
The band has 25 members, including Todd's other half.
Yeah, I taught my wife how to play bass so she could be a part of everything that we're doing.
Some are seasoned, others are strumming for the first time, but all are bringing new depth to the ukulele sound.
And to think that most of these people have never touched an instrument 2 years ago, I think they should be very proud of themselves.
When Ukes by the Sea is not practicing, they're performing with a purpose throughout the community.
To spread the love of Jesus with happy music. And they love it, they have a good time, and people seem to love watching us, so that's a good thing.
And hope that you'll consider joining their band, where strangers with strings turn into a chorus of friends.
I love it. These people are just like my second family. They've welcomed me with open arms. They welcome everybody into the group that wants to be a part of it.
They just enjoy being together and enjoy playing together. There's no downside to it. It's just a great experience all the way around.
Well, that is it for us. I hope you smiled this half hour. The Good Side, real stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us that even in the tough times, there is always another side. The Good Side. See you back here next week. Have a great day.